They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends,
they grow a beard because there's
up.
more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out of.
So if you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine. But we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute. This past weekend, there's been a couple of clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast.
But why did they apologize? This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com. Get the merch link in the description section. Discount code will pop up right here. Links will be in the description section. Also, like I said in one of my other videos, we have discounts for just about anybody. If you are military, we have a discount for you. Not only military, active, you're a veteran, or you're a dependent of somebody in the military. School teacher, doctors. You know I got first responders on there. You're a police officer. You know, what are you, firefighter. You work at the hospital. You don't just have to be a doctor. If you're a student, if you are low income, which means that you're on a fixed income, or you're on food stamps or something, we got discounts for everybody. As soon as you go to the front page, just scroll all the way down, you'll start seeing the discounts pop up. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know these two UK dudes. I've seen them a few times, like most of you guys probably have. If you watch social media enough, you'll end up seeing people pop up. And these two guys that are sitting with the white T-shirts on, they're the UK guys. I think they have a podcast together. And I guess they were on Andrew Schulz show. And unless you're completely stupid, he's a comedian. The guy's whole persona is funny. The guy had a stand-up show that was sold out. I don't know how, Madison Square Garden. Is that what he did? And he was going to do a Netflix, and then they canceled him, and he sold out in Madison Square Garden like 2 or 3 days in a row or something crazy. So this guy's obviously making commentary and jokes. But wait till you hear the controversy about black women. Now, I'm not going to specifically say what they said that made everybody mad. I'm going to let you determine that. But listen to this clip and tell me if it's worth anybody apologizing and people criticizing all over the internet. You just let me know. Roll the clip.
Meghan Markle. She's cool, man. She's cool.
She stole your ginge. How you feel about that?
I'm here for it, bro.
I'm here for the multicultural.
Really?
Yeah, black girlfriend effect.
Yeah.
You're into that.
Yeah,
And Meghan Markle's
she came
fine.
in.
What's the black girlfriend? They just come in and start fighting?
Nah, bro. You guys don't know about black girlfriend effect. She just.
Wait, what is the black girlfriend effect? This is
you don't know
You
about
just
this?
glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend. All of a sudden, he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up.
Yeah.
Glows up, bro.
Yeah, I like that.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends, they
grow a beard
because
because there's more cushion when they get slapped the out of.
They're laughing. These are jokes. He's creating jokes. God, people are so stupid to me. He's joking. Do you think, like, I don't understand how people don't understand comedy and comedians at this point. Not everything a comedian say they actually believe. They're just saying things that make you laugh. I don't get it, man. Comedians make stories about girlfriends and stories about them going to the mall and stuff. They made it up. It's a joke. They make up the joke to make you laugh. It don't mean it's true.
That's hilarious.
They're laughing.
I think the black girlfriend effect. It might be a protective instinct, bro.
You think?
Protective.
Do you guys have you ever had black girlfriends?
Yeah.
Have you ever had white girls?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. What's your favorite?
We love them all.
Yeah.
Oh really?
We love them all.
Yeah.
That means white.
Yo, who gives you
that means white.
Let me tell you why it means white. Because if they did say white, they'll get more backlash than they got from just this exchange right here. That means that they like white women. It's like when you say, who you voting for? I keep my votes private. That means you vote for Trump. That's because people flip out if you actually said, I'm voting for Trump. If two men in modern America say, I prefer white women, and they live in the UK. I didn't know black people live in the UK until I got grown. But if one mixed, his mama probably white, dare say they like white women over black women, like they get crucified. Let me let it finish.
Translation.
Kendrick fans, get him!
We love them all.
Yeah, that's royal English for white.
Jokes. They're telling jokes. They're laughing. They're putting on. They're trying to poke fun. But the guys that you saw on the show, the African guys, apologized. Now, just looking at their face, did this look like a apologizes they wanted to make? I mean, he appeared seeing his life flash in front of him. I don't know why these brothers, and this brother probably mixed. I don't know why these brothers feel like they gotta apologize to black women or black people in general. Even if they weren't jokes and this is how they felt about black women, who could, like, don't make me go down that path. I don't think all black people are bad and black women are bad or anything like that. But me growing up, I find that white women have been a lot more. Let me let them apologize real quick because I'm gonna say what I gotta say, but I'm gonna let them finish. Roll the clip.
So if you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine. But we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute. This past weekend, there's been a couple clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast while we were on our US tour. And yeah, there were a few jokes made that were incredibly inappropriate. One specifically pertaining to black women. And in the clip, Andrew was making a joke. I'm not even going to get into specifics. Making a frankly racist joke. And we were laughing.
Racist joke. He's made a racist joke.
Laughing at it. And to give, there's first of all, before we get into like specifics or anything like that, obviously there's just literally no excuse. There is no excuse.
Agreed.
And fight or flight is a real thing. Like it is, yeah. Fight or flight is a real thing, and it's so not easy to say, but when you're in those situations, you look at it through a lens of.
I'll never watch these guys again. I may have hit the subscribe button on them one time, maybe not. I'm gonna unsubscribe if I do. What a bunch of feckless dudes. Now I'm not trying to beat them up too much because maybe they're getting threatened, right? I mean, they like, oh, yeah. Before we said everything was bad, no excuse for anything we said. They're jokes, man.
Like, bro, if it was me, I promise you I'll stand up, I'll kick them cameras down,
Yeah.
I'll smack homeboy in the face,
Yeah.
I'll say this, I'll do that. But when you're in there, you're in shock.
You're in shock, and all you want to do is move on.
Yeah, bro,
literally
move on
all
is
you
the
wanna
fucking
do-
word, bro. All you want to do is fucking move on. Just move on to the next thing. Just
Yeah.
move on to the next thing.
There's
And
so
like
many
we had to say a
times.
few times, bro, just move on.
Just move
Just
on.
move
Literally,
on.
so many different topics. We were like, move on. And
Yeah.
it's not even like about pity laughs or anything, but we just wanted to
Get out of that situation.
literally get out of that situation, keep the ball rolling. And we thought it was going to be more of like a bros chat, but it ended up being something that's
ended
not
up
meant to
being
be.
something that's like really, really hurt people that
Yeah.
look to us for support and look to us to feel protected. And protected is the main thing
Yeah.
that I wanted to discuss, is that it is our duty to protect you guys.
GE. That's why we can whoop y'all any day of the week as a country. The UK, that's why we boss and y'all not boss. They sound like little weenies, man. We have a safe space. I can't stand the way these dudes talk. Rap or nothing. They can't do nothing better than Americans. Nothing.
And it is definitely not cool to be in that situation. And again, not be the ones to stand up and kick the cameras down. And we it on that occasion.
We did.
It's not going to happen again. And it's about being human. It's about realizing that you don't know what you're prepared for. You don't know how to prepare for something
you don't know
that you
about.
don't know what's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
And once it's happened one time, you're like, all right.
You learn from your mistakes, and that's literally
That's
you
literally,
literally
bro.
learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, we
man.
it and we're
Y'all weak on two ends. This video wasn't even going to be about them. I didn't even watch the apology in full. Now the video kind of about y'all weak dudes. Look, bro, y'all weak on two ends. You weak because if you really was that offended with Andrew Schulz, you should have just said something while you were there. Like, hey, bro, we're going to get canceled if y'all keep going. Let's stay away from the black jokes. Like, for real, bro, I'll walk off the podcast. Have a spine to do something. And then to be even more spineless, you apologize for jokes. Jokes. Why you apologize for something that Andrew Schulz said? People get mad, and I'm gonna say what I got to say about black women in a minute. And it's not bad. It's just that I think it's such a misconception, and it's almost like black men like me and others, which every black dude I know is married to a white woman, just about. But it's like y'all shame us because we have preferences, and just so happen white women in these situations are the preference. It ain't like a bunch of black dudes go out and be like, I'm looking for whitey. It's like, no, I'm looking for a woman who's kind, who's generous, who's stable, who's traveled, who's educated, who want to raise a family and not arguing with me every day. And therefore, that's the type of woman I want. And when I go around and I date different women, it seems to land on white women. That don't mean that every black woman is unagreeable. That just means that the percentages seem to lean more towards white women. And if you black and you're conservative, your chances of marrying a black woman is probably like 1%. If you just think of how black women vote and how they think, if you're not, how many black women you think are conservative in comparison to the black community? I mean, you just don't have, you go to a conservative event, it's gonna be 3 black people and they all know each other. Come on, man. So the chances of you running into a person that you love, that agree with a lot of things that you agree on, that happen to be white, is a heightened possibility depending on who you are. Majority of people who are black marry black women. Majority of people white marry white people. Anyway, let me play this clip of this guy right here. This is the silliness that people bestow upon these brothers from the UK.
These 2 black British podcasters, James and Fuhad, were on Andrew Schulz podcast, and Andrew Schulz was making jokes about them not liking black women, making jokes about one of them being Nigerian.
Boy playing with his hair like he don't got a daddy. That boy playing in his hair like his mama raised him his whole life. All right.
And they didn't stop him, and it was humiliating. I'll say this. As someone who goes on a lot of platforms owned and hosted by white people, as someone who has hosted platforms with white people, somebody who worked at a very white company, Google, as somebody who grew up in very white classrooms my whole life.
Hey, you live in a very white country too, so are you shocked?
I know that if I let one, it is the slipperiest slope. If I let one little racial joke my way slide, there is an avalanche to follow by everyone in that room who is looking for their chance to get their shot in and humiliate me and make me the whipping boy. And so as a result, every time I go on a platform hosted by a white person, I'm extremely protective of myself, of my culture, of my people. I'm serious. And it's limiting to my personality. I'm not that serious all the time. There's a lot of other dimensions to me. And I think this is something that all black folks have to deal with at work, where you're constantly playing defense against other people's perceptions of you. And so the real you never actually gets to leak out, the one that people would probably be the most drawn to, the most dynamic one. But Andrew Schulz took the opportunity to squish these guys into this moment. They didn't defend themselves. Now they end up looking like wankas.
No, they look like wanksters because they apologizing and stuff. I don't get how people are so sensitive, man. Like, I work with nothing but white people for a very long time. I think what happens is black people need to grow up with a tougher skin and not think that every white person, you live in a bubble. I think black people live more in a bubble than just about anybody. So when you get out of the bubble and a white person tell a joke about a black person, because we tell jokes about white people all the time. Mexicans, white people, all the time. And then when one say one back to you, black people get offended. It's like, you could talk about white people. You could talk about white people can't dance. You could talk about white people can't play sports better than black people. You could talk about white people can't rap. White people can't sing. They can't. They got 2 left feet. White people don't have no culture. I mean, y'all can say all this stuff about white people, and then a white person say y'all late to stuff, and you mad, and you were late to the podcast, and you mad. It's just been disingenuous. Like, when I listened to what Andrew Schulz said about that, I thought it was funny. Black women are, I would say on average, more aggressive than white women. They are. Does that make them bad? No, that just means if you like an aggressive woman, you need a black woman typically will be more aggressive than a white woman. I dated black and white women since. Let me bring my dating history up. My first girlfriend was mixed. Every girlfriend I had from my first girlfriend through college, through the beginning of my college career, were all black. I never would date a white girl. I never thought about dating a white girl. White girls didn't have no bodies. I didn't want nothing to do with white women. And also I grew up a little bit of racist because you can't bring a white girl home, right? You get clowned. You dating a white girl, bro. Your boys will be clowning you, bro. You sold out the people. And then I got to college and it was a different story. You know, white women are way better looking than I thought they were. And people weren't as racist as I thought they were either. And so I dated a white girl. My first white girlfriend. I had a kid with her, and we ended up having a kid together and all this stuff. And I thought we were gonna make it. I proposed to her and everything. I had never dated a white girl before her. But let me just put it like this. People got to stop being so sensitive and start being realistic with what they want and what is out here. And the reason that black men end up dating white women is culture. It's not color. There's a lot of very successful, smart black women who are articulate, who got business savvy and business sense, and they come from a good family. But the chances of you running into that woman in comparison to the many white women or other groups of women that have that already, it gets slimmer. And y'all don't want to have this conversation. Because y'all sit and complain every single day about how black people are downtrodden and we did. If that's then true, then what I'm saying is true. If y'all so downtrodden, then the people that ain't downtrodden is what? White people. And when black people become successful, they don't want no downtrodden victim stuff. They typically don't want to do that. That's why you see a plethora of celebrity black people dating white women. And it's because culture. When you get money, black men that get money, they get what we call exposure. And so they start hanging around people, they start being around people with money, and then they start emulating their environment. Where they go, oh, I've never been to a real steakhouse. I used to think Outback Steakhouse was a steakhouse. You're going to Outback? You're going to the Keg? Whatever it's that. Man, I ain't know nothing about no Steak 44 and $200 Wagyu ribeye caps, dry aged ribeyes, New York strip filet mignon, tartare, steak tartare. That's raw meat. When I was growing up, I ain't never heard of nothing about none of that. And then when you get into a certain culture, you say, okay, I go to college, I meet somebody, the funny thing is, I get introduced to sushi. Right? I never had sushi before. Black people don't eat raw stuff. We eat our burgers well done, steak well done, which is humiliating at this point, but that's how I grew up. Well done. You don't eat nothing raw, a little pinky, and it gets you sick. And, then you go to, and there's probably a history behind that, but then you go to sushi. You ain't eat no raw fish. You don't cook that fish. But I got introduced to sushi. My black girlfriend that was in college, and what was her friends? A number of white people. So, got sushi. Then after college, started meeting people, going to dinners and stuff like that, and started making a little more money. Then I started realizing that, wow, there's a level of decorum and different things out here in the world that makes sense, right? I can't be the same man I used to be and think I'm gonna go where I want to be or I want to go. You can't go and think you can dress any kind of way going to every venue that you want to go to. Oh, I'm wear these jeans and a baggy shirt because I want to. It's like, no, I understood very early on that there's a decorum. And so when I go to a steakhouse, I put a blazer on. And I begin to adopt that premise and understand this is how wealthy people move. I want to move like people that's moving like I want to move. You know what I mean? I aspire to be one day. I want to move like them. You know what I'm saying? I learned about whiskey, learned about wine, cigars. I see how wealthy people move, and I want to move like that. And what happens is when you start moving like that, you start going into a different class of people that are on the same level as you as far as what you want, what you expect out of life. And unfortunately, you know, black women are just left behind, man. They just, not in its totality, because there's 80% of black men marry black women. But I'm just saying, it just, when you date a black woman, for whatever reason, it's just not the same. And that's not to say every person is that way. Clearly, I'm not with my oldest son's mom. It didn't work out. Is she perfect? No, she wasn't perfect. You know what I mean? And you know, anyway, I can go down a list about stuff. At the end of the day, people need to stop getting hurt over jokes, and people need to be realistic about what's really happening and going on. Like, black men be cutting up too. That's why, like, when black men who want to be somebody get judged, because a lot of other black men are cutting up. Like, when I go home to my little gated community, nobody said anything to me. But in my mind, I be thinking, especially when I drive my truck, I be thinking that they look at me some type of way. Or if I drive one of my nicer cars, I think that people probably think I'm an athlete. People have said that to me. You know, and I don't feel no kind of way about it, because I understand. I got tats all on my arm and stuff that if people see me, they like, is this a drug dealer, athlete? Like, what's this dude's thing? Why? Because a lot of black people on television and stuff, they are a certain way. That don't mean it's right. That just mean that I understand where people are coming from. I'm not shocked. Or they see me, I got a little muscle. I still got a little something from when I was working out. You know what I'm saying? Got a little something, put you in a headlock, put you to sleep. I look like an athlete. So when I get out of a nice car, I go to a nice restaurant, people think I'm an athlete. Am I shocked? Most wealthy black men are athletes that are flamboyant or visible. They're athletes, especially in Arizona. Like, you see rich black men, it's like Arizona Cardinals. And if they 6'7", they a basketball player. You see rich black men, they're older if they come from old money or they've established themselves. You young, rich black men, or people that perceive them to be rich, are athletes, a lot of them. So anyway, let me stop before I get canceled on this thing. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out.